Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you'll find a description of the day's astrology as I've spelled it out here. Here, I'll discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So, let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Eight of Cups, and it is here because it corresponds in astrology with the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit here in the land of Pisces. Pisces is a water sign, and cups in tarot relate to water element symbolism. Water element symbolism is about emotions. It's about the way things feel. So our emotions, our relationships, what we love, who we love, what our intuition tells us, and also some of our personal habits as well. But you know, we often just bring it back to emotion and intuition, how things feel to us. And so we come to the Eight of Cups here, and we see a scene where the sun is being eclipsed by the moon. So that's our sense of purpose in the world, sort of being covered over by the way we feel. And somebody is walking away from a bunch of cups. So let's say that those cups are emotional investments. It's something that we gave a lot of goodwill, time, and effort to. And then, you know, we find that we're not getting out of it what it was that we thought we would get out of it for our emotional investment, right? And, you know, that can be enthusiasm, that can be joy, that can be love. It can, you know, we can be giving to a situation, we can be giving to a job, we can be giving to a relationship with somebody, you know, but what we've found is that what we're giving isn't being reciprocated, or it just isn't satisfying for us in some way. So we have turned the cold shoulder. We are gonna just move on, right? And it's a sense of disappointment when you have to turn the cold shoulder on someone, often, you know, or something often it's because you feel this sense of disappointment. And it's like, I just don't even know how to even deal with this situation anymore. And I don't really think that I have to, so I'm just gonna move on and do my own thing, right? A little disappointment, a sense of loss. We've abandoned something. We know we can't get that emotional investment back, but we're ready at this point just to go ahead and pay attention to other things. Okay. So now I'm going to play this card. Oh, and we got the Queen of Water this time, friends. Okay, so we've got water element and water element symbolism, and it's a very moon water element sort of day. Moon is the planet that rules the sign of Cancer, which is our fixed water sign. And what we have going on today in the morning is the moon being in transition from Taurus and into Gemini. So it goes void of course at 8:42 this morning with a trine to Pluto, which is this very positive, that green line here between the moon and Pluto. It's this very positive aspect saying that, yes, we're very sensitive to our intuitive depths. Yes, we can feel things coming up. We can recall things. We can discover things. We can recognize things in a new way. And at this time, it happens really easy for us, and we're able to put that information to good use, right? We're able to do maybe some intuitive work with it, or do some emotional work with it. And we have an hour after that, 8:42, before the moon moves on into Gemini. That space of time is the void of course. So that's a good time to journal, meditate, reflect, whatever it is that helps you calm your mind so you can listen to what your body and what your intuitive senses are telling you. And then the moon's going to move on into Gemini. So, you know, that's all really positive news. And I'm saying all of that because the Queen of Water is about mastery of those emotional and intuitive capacities. The Queen of Water is, well, a queen is a person that a lot of people rely on, right? And this is a person who's very, very much in touch with their emotions, also very much in touch with their gut, their guidance, and their instinct, their intuitive capacity, right? I would compare the Queen of Water somewhat to a high priestess in the major arcana, especially this one. I mean, doesn't she just look royal? She looks like to me, like she's deep in thought, and she's got her hand there on her belly, sort of just like she's, listening to her insides, listening to what her gut has to tell her. And it appears as though she's almost riding on some sort of water element animal of some kind, or riding on some wave of intuition there. And, being the queen, she overlooks all these other things, the waves, the currents, the fish in the water, the plants that grow there, right? And here's the moon behind her head with a hummingbird symbol there. So, this is very much, to me, that's very much like emotional information coming in, intuitive information coming in. And with the moon around her head, it's like, yes, she's open to it, and she's full of it. She's full of that intuitive information and guidance. So the Queen of Water can be a really good person to turn to when you need some help. This person does sort of live to serve a number of people. And if you're struggling intuitively, or if you're struggling emotionally, and somebody who has some mastery of those impulses and capacities, the thing that occurs to me right now is that person might have a good message for you. If you reach out to them and let them know what you're struggling with, they might be able to help you think of things in a way that you had not thought of them yet, right? So, Queen of Water, to me, that's very Cancer vibe. That's very what the moon is doing today. Is we're feeling very sensitive. We are in our intuitive depths, and we are in transition too. So, it's a good time to listen to your instincts. And I'm going to put this together now. We have the Eight of Cups and the Queen of Water. So both of these are water element symbolism. Both of these are basically cups cards. Eight of Cups really sort of represents this point where we take action to make a change, right? Like we've been giving of ourselves in one way or another, and we've found it's not satisfying to us. And so we're just like, okay, I got to do something else, right? And I love that. I think I could just write that on that card. It's time to do something else, right? And then that, to me, represents a certain mastery of the emotional capacity. When we find, like Jupiter, that sometimes we tend to overgive or overcommit, or, especially emotionally, or intuitively sort of give too much of our own capacity to a point where we feel like we're being sapped of strength, where we feel like we're giving away our power, and the reciprocity isn't there. We're not getting something in return for it that makes it worth the power that we're giving up, right? Water is power. Pluto is a very powerful sign. And the moon is very, very powerful in our lives. It is the closest, it is literally the closest planet to us, and it has a literal impact on the way the water moves on our planet and in our bodies. Okay, so that's a very powerful vibe. The water is a very powerful vibe, and when you realize that you've sprung a leak somewhere, and you've started giving away your power, right? And you decide, oh no, wait, I'm not going to do that. And you sort of plug up the leak, right? You stop giving in that direction, and you turn the cold shoulder again. You just say, I don't have anything to do with that anymore. I'm going to move on and on to bigger and better things. That is that kind of emotional mastery that eventually can set you up for a role in which you either have leadership or in which people, would turn to you for guidance because you have, you've mastered all the levels of emotional disappointment and how to handle them. Right. And it takes emotional intelligence, and it takes intuitive intelligence as well. A lot of people, when you haven't gained that emotional or intuitive intelligence, that's when you find yourself in that situation where you think, if I just keep giving of my heart, if I just keep giving of myself, I know that I can make this work, and I know that X, Y, and Z will notice me, or X, Y, and Z will happen for me if I just give enough of my enthusiasm, if I just give enough of my joy and my love to a certain situation, person, place, thing, job, lover, whatever. But definitely, especially about our personal relationships, those friends and family relationships, and also our romantic relationships. But don't leave your friends out of that, out of the sphere of your emotional entanglements. Okay. When we don't have that, when we lack that maturity, and that emotional intelligence, and it doesn't, it's not to say that somebody's stupid. It just means you haven't had enough experience yet to realize. And then at some point, we realize, like, oh, I've been giving so much of myself to this situation, and literally it just didn't work for me. Right. Then, having the emotional maturity to just turn your back and go. It's not about, it's not about running away from something that is too difficult. It's more like walking away from something that you can't give anymore to. Right. So that's a level of emotional mastery, and that's a level of intuitive mastery, and it's one worth gaining. So check your own life. And or maybe, there's somebody who's coming to you for guidance. Check their life and check for leaks. Check for little watery, intuitive, and emotional leaks. Check for places where you're giving too much to relationships, too much, of your time and your goodwill to situations that don't feel reciprocal. Because, we'd like to think that, we do have this bottomless well of love, and we'd like to think that we can just give and give and give without getting any back. But it's rarely all that satisfying to keep giving and not get anything back, right? Eventually, we're going to see that, without the reciprocity, it's not really very fulfilling to be in a situation where you're just giving. All right, so check your life for leaks. And use this opportunity to make an upgrade if you've been giving too much to a situation that doesn't give back to you. Okay. And this is the way to get to that calm state of being where you're just sort of overlooking things and feeling fine about it too. Okay, friends, I think that's all I have to say about it. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.